Hey guys, what's going on? It is Stephanie Lugo here, and today I'm super excited because we're going to talk about mapping out content for the entire year. You guys, it's just not enough to set a really good goal to create enough content for the year, whether it's videos, a podcast, blog post, whatever. You need to actually make the commitment to the actions that you'll take each day, week, month, quarter that's going to make those goals come into reality. So today I want to share a strategy that I've used to plan out content for the entire year that you can actually stick to and make sure that you're going to reach the level of content that you're hoping to create in 2019. So the most important part about mapping out your content calendar for the entire year is actually starting by asking yourself a couple of questions. So first, you want to determine what kind of content am I going to commit to creating consistently? Okay, what format are you going to show up in front of your people? So content comes in many different forms: video, blog posts, podcasts, newsletters, Facebook, Instagram. All of that posting is content. It's how you're showing up in front of your audience, with whether they be prospective home buyers, your sphere, your network. You have to choose which format you can actually stick to consistently. It's really easy for us to want to kind of dabble in everything, be really good posting on Facebook and then Instagram and putting up your videos, turning those into blog posts. You really actually want to not become a jack of all trades. You want to be really consistent in one avenue. Okay, so for example, our kind of content creation tends to tend towards the video/blog category. I love being able to create a visual and a long form kind of format for my content. It works really well for our audience, and it's easy for me to create over time. So choose 1 to 2 different formats that you can consistently create over time and stick to those. Okay guys, so the next part that you really want to ask yourself is, who are you going to be creating this content for? It's really important to do the work to identify your ideal clients, which in turn is going to become your audience. Okay, we don't want to be screaming to the masses. We want to be speaking directly to our ideal clients. Okay, so take some time to determine who that audience is going to look like for you. In doing this work, you are going to have much more clarity in the way that you speak on content, in the way that you write. You're going to have much more clarity in the topics that you need to be creating content around, and it's going to be much more cohesive to your overall brand and business, which is really, really important. Okay, so now we need to determine how often you're going to post. If you've set a goal to make 52 videos this year, congratulations, that's totally awesome. Is that going to be 1 video a week? Is it going to be 3 videos a week once a month? You have to determine exactly how you want that to look and map it out, okay? So look at your goal, figure out how you want your content to be putting out time-wise, and commit to either posting a video on one specific day a week or a blog post on another specific day a week. Really decide how often you're going to be posting and when that content needs to be published. Okay, we know that deadlines are super effective, and this is kind of what we're building in here. You're almost giving yourself a deadline on when the stuff needs to be performed and published. Okay guys, last but not least, we want to really start thinking about in what ways can you repurpose this content. One of the biggest secrets of really effective marketers is that they don't just create content on the fly, right? They're creating content and then repurposing it towards different channels and different avenues. So think about, if you are creating a video, how else can you repurpose that content to get more leverage from it? So that's one of the reasons why I really like the video and blog format. For example, I can do a video and put it on social media and YouTube, and then I can do my blog and take that long form text and use that for another post on Instagram, and maybe also repurpose it on Facebook. There's a lot of different ways that you can kind of sprinkle the content that you create across the different platforms, and it will give you so much greater reach and way better leverage for all of that time that you put into crafting a beautiful piece of content. So start thinking about what are the ways that you're going to repurpose every video, every blog post, every podcast, whatever that looks like for you. Let's figure out how we're going to create as much leverage as possible. Okay, so now that we know what types of content we're going to be creating, who we're creating it for, and when it needs to be distributed, it's time to start figuring out, well, what am I going to say, right? We really need to discuss some different types of topics that you can consistently nail down and talk about so that you have enough topics and ideas for content throughout the entire year. Now, real estate is kind of interesting because this is a really seasonal business, a very cyclical business. So there are going to be some trends that we can kind of watch out for if we're looking at our year as a whole. Okay, so one really good place to start in terms of filling out a bunch of different ideas for content is just looking at your seasonal markets. Okay, if there's a time of year when you know a lot of home buyers are gearing up to get out there to buy, maybe you need to know that, okay, Q1, Q2, I need to be doing some home buyer FAQs. Maybe I need to do some market statistic videos and just share about what to expect once I get out into the marketplace. Maybe we know that things die down during the summer. Some markets are like that. Phoenix especially, the summer can be a little bit of a ghost town, and it's because everybody wants to go away and have their little getaways, go on vacation. So it's really important to sprinkle some of that lifestyle type of content into your marketing as well. Maybe start thinking about, well, during those periods of time of the year, I can share some really helpful resources on where to do a great staycation in my area, or really quick day trips that are near my market. Just share a little bit about the community and what makes living where you work so great. Now you can take this a step further and do different themes. So if you want to have once a month, you have a tip Tuesday or an FAQ Friday, you can do that too if that's easier. So either choose what your audience is going to want to hear and try to create content that's in alignment with what they need, and or create some really predictable, consistent ways that you can just show up. So creating content in this manner is going to help keep you in alignment with who it is that you're wanting to attract as clients. It's going to make you more relevant, more credible. So really take some time to look at your year as a whole and figure out what your audience is going to be looking for during each quarter. Okay, so now we're ready to put it all together. All right, so this is kind of the fun part. Open up an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheets, or even a Word doc if you need to, and start with just a good old brain dump, right? I want you to go ahead and write down every idea you can possibly think for to create content. Put down a bunch of titles, a bunch of topics that you can talk to, and you really want to just like exhaust every idea you can think of. And once you have that, once you have one big place where you have all of your ideas, all of your content topic ideas, then you can start picking and choosing where you need to be posting those. So you'll look at each month and you'll just start pulling from that master list of ideas and scheduling in each post that you're going to do. A really good way to stay on top of this is by creating that spreadsheet and including fields like the title name, when it's going to be posted, the status, any notes you need for it. So then you always know what's next. You can then really easily schedule this out through each month and each quarter throughout the entire year. So you can pull up this sheet and very easily have a quick high-level view on every piece of content that you're going to need to post. Okay, so the idea here literally is to schedule out every post, every video, every newsletter, every content that you're putting out there throughout the entire year. It feels a little daunting, but remember, you've done all this work to determine when you need to be posting, what you need to be posting, who it's going out to. So if you have that master list of topics, just start cherry picking and putting them into a calendar or a spreadsheet so that you know when you're going to be posting what. Okay, so once you have that all set in place, you need to have some systems in place so that you can actually stick with it this time, right? So let's talk about how we're going to create some consistency here and make sure that we're going to be as successful as possible in executing this awesome plan. So number one is don't post on the fly. You guys, you do not want to be stuck in the wheel of creating content and posting it the same day. If you have it on your schedule to create an FAQ for new buyers this week, you need to start prepping for that a week before. You have to start doing this work in advance, or else you're going to wake up one morning, realize that you had planned on posting a video that day, and you're going to waste the next 6 hours trying to create this piece of content when really you should be working on your business, right? So plan in advance some time to make sure that you're staying on top of things and that you're giving yourself the space that you need to create really high quality content. Okay, that's the key here. We want to give ourselves enough time and to where we can put so much effort into creating the right content, high quality content that's really going to resonate. So tip number 2 on sticking with it is going to be actually to batch your content. And what I mean by that is, think about what it would mean to your business if instead of spending so much time each week creating every individual post, maybe once a month or twice a month, you dedicate one whole day to filming everything that you need to film or writing out all the blog posts and newsletters that you need to write out, and really giving yourself that block of time to dedicate complete focus to creating at least the first part of your content, which is going to be that initial raw video, that initial draft of long form posting, whatever that needs to be. So batch your content once or twice a month. And then over time, as each week goes by, you can be editing these posts in time. You can be editing these videos and really give yourself the space it takes to drip out this content consistently. And what you're going to find is that will be so much more sustainable to your business. It will be so much easier to stay on top of it and stick to with consistency, which is the key. Okay guys, hope you found this super helpful. I hope that you implement this and let me know what you think about this. If you have any questions or if you've done something similar to some of the tips that I'm sharing today, I would love to know how this works for you in 2019, and I'm wishing you the power and the clarity to crush all of your content creation goals this year. Take care, guys.